Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Gwiasda. On today's show, we check in with the Resource Recovery Plant. My guest today is Lorrie Hanson with the Resource Recovery Plant. Lorrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, you've been with the Resource Recovery Plant for a long time, and you can tell us a little bit about what it is they do here.
Well, we basically take most of the garbage from Story County, residential and commercial. We grind it up and make most of it into fuel for our power plant.
So we're located off Lincoln Way and Center Avenue, very close to the power plant.
Yes.
Trucks come in here all the time.
All the time.
They take garbage from all over Story County. What happens when the garbage gets here?
They dump it, the garbage haulers dump it on the floor, and then our folks take over feeding the garbage into the system itself, and then the machines take over, remove the metals, and then send the best part over to the power plant. We sell the metals for revenue, and we also sell the RDF, or the shredded garbage that we use for boiler fuel, as revenue as well.
So the RDF goes over to the power plant and it's used in place of coal. How much do we save? How much less coal do we burn because of it?
For every ton of garbage that we send over to the power plant, we are able to not use a quarter ton of coal.
So over the course of a year, what percent might that be a reduction?
At least a 10% reduction.
Which is pretty impressive.
It is. It is. Coal is a fossil fuel, and so therefore it is finite. Garbage, unfortunately, seems to have no end to it at all.
So there are some things that people in Ames should not put in the garbage. And actually, let me back up there. A bigger question we get when people move to Ames is they're looking for the recycling bins that maybe they've experienced in another community. Why do we not have those recycling bins here in Ames?
In most other communities, you will have a bin for your plastic and for your paper and for your glass and for your metal, maybe even a few different bins for different kinds of paper. But here in Story County, we don't need it because we've had the Resource Recovery Plant since 1975. Traditional recycling's only been around for about 25 years, so we beat that. We take the good stuff out of the garbage and use just about as much of it as we can. So that is up to about 70% of the garbage that comes in the door.
Now, but there is one thing we want people to pull out.
That is glass. Glass doesn't have any use here at the Resource Recovery Plant. It is, after all, made out of sand. So once it gets broken up in the shredder system, it becomes sand once again, and it's very abrasive to our equipment. If it makes it over to the power plant, it's just going to melt inside the boiler and cause problems over there. So we want to keep that out as much as possible.
So what should people do with their glass? And when we talk about glass, we're talking about the pickle jars, the jelly jars, that kind of glass.
Yes, container glass. We want you to put those back in the bright yellow bins at the grocery stores around town.
And do I have to worry about the lids, the labels?
Don't worry about the lids or the labels. If it had some tomato-based stuff in it or whatever it was in there, you might just give the jar a quick rinse. But we do have a pre-breaker, pre-delabeler at the front of our glass crusher that will take care of those things.
There is another thing you don't want in the garbage, and that's household hazardous waste.
Right.
What are some of those? What are those defined as?
Pretty much, it's easy to find in your home. Anything that says caution, warning, flammable, inflammable, combustible, toxic, poison. Those are the kinds of things that we're looking for, and that would include any lawn and garden product, any pet products for flea and tick control, cleaners around your house, oil-based paints and thinners, or oil-based paint-related products.
What about things like your cleaners, your basic Windex, that kind of stuff?
If you decide that you don't want to use anymore, you're certainly welcome to make an appointment and bring those into us on a Wednesday afternoon at no charge.
Okay, so that's another really important thing to make a distinction. You don't just come any time of the day.
Nope, we want you to make an appointment for a Wednesday afternoon, particularly because we're not running on Wednesday afternoons, and we have the manpower to be out at our Haz shed to collect those materials that are coming in.
Lorrie, I know you know a lot about the resource recovery system and how it works. Do you give tours, or how do you let people know about this?
I do give tours, and it is the most favorite thing in the world for me to come out to you and explain to you how the system works and how you can participate in the system in the best way for our community.
So you'll do a speaking engagement?
You betcha. This morning I was out to the Ames Morning Rotary Club at the Golf and Country Club. This afternoon, Ames Public Library will be bringing several groups through the plant to have a little bit of a tour. It happens all year long, all week long. I'm available for tours here at the plant as well as going out into the community.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time today to talk with us.
You're welcome. People would think that garbage isn't maybe so interesting, but we can make it interesting for you.
Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
For those of you thinking ahead, remember that the 4th of July is coming up, and Thursday, July 4th, most city offices will be closed. Don't forget that the mayor and city council will be hosting a community pancake breakfast from 8:30 to 10:30 at the front of Ames City Hall. That will be followed by the downtown 4th of July parade beginning at 11 a.m. on Thursday, July 4th. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.